Hey, I'm Leonard Fournette, and you're watching the fantasy show with Matthew Barrett. Man, ESPN must be desperate.
Leonard, you have no idea. We're going to talk about you in a little bit, but we start with conflicting reports on Andrew Luck. Jason Lockenfor of CBS filed a report from Colts camp with this sentence, quote, "I've heard plenty of rumblings about him starting the year on the physically unable to perform list." Okay, that would be huge news, obviously. Andrew Luck on the PUP list would mean him missing 6 games in the regular season. Naturally, of course, the fantasy world reacted with its typical reserved sense of wait and see.
Holy cow, Andrew Luck is out for the year! Holy mayonnaise, Matthew!
Now, before you do something rash, like, look up Scott Tolzien's career stats, our own Stefania Bell actually addressed this topic on the Fantasy Focus podcast Monday, discussing how the Colts have had a very specific plan for Andrew Luck's injury and progressing it throughout this offseason.
What you don't know, what you can't foresee is how is that player going to respond as you increase the throwing. So right now, I would say it's too soon to panic.
Too soon to panic. Look, as somebody who has worked with Stefania every day for over a decade, I have to tell you, when it comes to injuries, there is literally no one I trust more. So if Stefania isn't worried yet, neither am I. I have Luck ranked as my number 4 quarterback this year, and at this moment, I'm not moving off that. Banged up last year, and yet still threw for over 4,200 yards, had 33 total touchdowns, and was the 4th best quarterback in fantasy. Speaking of 4th best, since Andrew Luck came into the league on a point-per-game basis, the only quarterbacks better than him, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Cam Newton. Next two on the list, by the way, after Luck, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Pretty good list. Make no mistake, there is risk with Luck, but the reward, very much worth the risk, especially because there's so much depth at quarterback this year that even if there was an issue, you'd be able to replace him easily. Currently going in the 7th round on ESPN.com, I'm good with that price, considering his insane upside. Jordan Reed and an injury report. Pretty much the peanut butter and jelly of fantasy football. Actually, peanut butter and jelly is delicious, so it's more like the dog and fire hydrant of fantasy football. By the way, I have a dog. He goes everywhere but a fire hydrant. Like, I'd kill from using a fire hydrant. The latest issue could be more serious than first expected. The Redskins announcing they are sending Reed to a toe specialist, though, from what I've heard, I'm not concerned. Yet. No doubt, Jordan Reed, a fantasy stud, however. In the last 3 years, he leads all tight ends in catches per game, 5.5. In that time, he leads the Redskins with 7.2 targets per game. And the 12.5 targets a game that used to go to Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson, now up for grabs. So if he's healthy, he could have an insane monster year. So just like I said with Andrew Luck, that reward very much worth the risk because of the potential replacements out there. If you draft Reed, you're going to need a backup plan, but dude, you already knew that. Toe injury or no, there's always risk with Reed. We get that, right? But look at all these guys on your screen who you could pick up in the 12th round or later. 10-team leagues, there's a lot of tight ends I like going in the later rounds. Some of these guys won't even be drafted. I guess what I'm saying is that tight ends are like pizza. Guys like Reed or Gronk, delicious brick oven pizza, thin crust, just the right toppings. Sure, the rest of the guys might be frozen pizza in a box, but hey, it's still pizza. Not as good, but late night, you have the munchies for, some reason. Trust me, we'll get the job done. Jordan Reed is going to be the focal point of a prolific offense that's going to score a ton. Going in the 4th round on ESPN.com, I'm good with that ADP. Draft him there, and then pick up one of the plentiful insurance policies in the later rounds. Maybe the quote of the summer so far, maybe even the quote of the year, came from new Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone. When asked the ideal number of pass attempts he'd like to see from Blake Bortles every game, he replied, 0. Yes, 0. All right, Doug, I have another question. How much thought should I put into drafting a kicker in the 1st round?
0.
How about the likelihood of this show lasting more than 3 weeks?
0.
How about the chances I have of dating Halle Berry?
0.0.
Yeah, all that fair. By the way, has there ever been 2 people with the same last name but further apart in genetic makeup than me and Halle Berry? Come on, this isn't fair. Get that off the screen, please. Look, Marrone's well-founded lack of confidence in Bortles makes me even higher on our friend, Leonard Fournette. Doug Marrone wants to run the ball a ton and win with his defense. Running the ball, by the way, not new to Coach Marrone. When he was the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, he rushed on 41% of his plays. That was 7th most in the NFL. And I believe he'll be able to run successfully with Jacksonville. Look at what the Jags' run game did last year. 9th in the NFL in yards before first contact. But they were actually 28th in the NFL in yards after first contact. In other words, they blocked well before the defense got to the running back, but once they got to him, that guy went down quickly. So that's why you go out and draft somebody who can do this.
Fournette into the secondary, runs over a man. Leonard Fournette, touchdown. Put him on the hood, Leonard. 22 yards.
Put him on the hood, indeed. Volume and talent make Fournette an easy choice, even in PPR leagues. Currently going in the 3rd on ESPN.com. I like him as a high-end RB2 with potential for more. Now, another rookie that many are high on is Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. He has a current ESPN ADP, this is true, by the way, of quarterback 15. Like he's being drafted ahead of Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, Andy Dalton, Tyrod Taylor, among many others. This is a guy who's not even guaranteed to start for the Texans this year, okay?
Oh, whoa, Barry, are you saying he's not going to start?
Hello, Strawman audience. This is Strawman audience. Strawman, I assume you have an argument for me?
Yes, I do. But first of all, where did you get this set? Was Nickelodeon having a garage sale?
Pretty much. It's budget cuts. All right, yeah, what do you got?
All anyone is talking about
Yeah.
is how this Watson kid, threw for all those touchdowns in national championship, beat Alabama.
Yep.
So we know he can beat the Browns.
All right.
Get
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I'm with you. Keep going.
Anyways, I think he's the next Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott had the 3rd best fantasy season of every rookie in the last 15 years. It was a historic season. So I don't think he's Dak Prescott this year.
Agree to disagree. Anyway, can I give a shout out to my girl? Hey, Lid, I'll be home in 5 minutes.
What are we even doing? All right, well, look, part of the reason for the hype on Watson is this quote from Texans head coach Bill O'Brien. Quote, Deshaun is ahead of any rookie quarterback I've ever been around. Sorry, I'm still thinking about a straw talking to me. That sounds great, but the fact is Bill O'Brien has only been around 4 rookie quarterbacks in his entire NFL coaching career. Tom Savage, Kevin O'Connell, Zach Robinson, Ryan Mallett. Oofa. Okay, that's like saying poop is the best emoji in the Emoji Movie. Like, my daughters made me see them. They're 6. They didn't even like it. Everyone's getting all hot and bothered over rookie quarterbacks. So why are we limiting it just to Watson? John Fox said Mitch Trubisky had, quote, a great camp. Chiefs general manager Brett Veach calls Pat Mahomes, quote, the best quarterback in the draft. And Browns wide receiver Kenny Britt said this week Deshaun Kaiser will, quote, be one of the great ones. My point is this. Every team overrates rookie quarterbacks. Don't do the same with your fantasy team. For every Dak Prescott, remember Derek Carr was quarterback 20 in his rookie year. Marcus Mariota, QB 22. Carson Wentz, QB 24. I love Watson for Dynasty, and I actually think he could have some fantasy value, especially because of his mobility. But he should not be drafted among the top 20 quarterbacks this year in a redraft league. Secret Squirrel, are you with me on this? Are you with me on Watson, or are you one of these truthers?
No, I'm 100% with you. Really excited to see what he would do in fantasy for dynasty stuff, but not really redraft.
Yep,
I
there
know.
you go. Thanks.
So this is my big question. His teammate, DeAndre Hopkins, 2 years ago, top 5 wide receiver. Last year with the poop emoji throwing him the football, he was outside the top 25. So if Watson starts, would he be good enough to be able to get DeAndre Hopkins back inside the top 5?
I think we all think whatever the quarterback situation at the Texans is, it's better than Brock Osweiler last year.
Absolutely.
Right? So nowhere to go but up for DeAndre Hopkins, one of the most talented players in the the NFL. And he was top 8 in targets last year. He got 150, I believe. So you know the volume will be there. My concern on him is he's currently going 12th among wide receivers. Like, to me, that's his ceiling.
Yeah.
Like, if everything goes well for DeAndre Hopkins, he's probably somewhere in that 8 to 12 range. You've baked in all potential profit with where he's going right now, and I don't like that. I like guys that have upside, and I think at wide receiver 12, that's pretty much what DeAndre Hopkins, if everything goes well, will be. So as much as I love him as a player, I'm probably not in on Hopkins this year at his current price point. This is the point of the show where I would tell you what's coming up after the break, but it's digital. We don't have a break. So, you know what? Make sure you check out the debut of our TV show. That's right. We're going to be on actual television August 16th on ESPN. That's right. We're on the Big Boy Network, 3 p.m. Eastern, but just for that one day. The next day after that, we will be daily, 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Me, Daniel, and Puppets. Wish us luck.